flowed by movements as I demonstrate. Focus on stretching the back. Now, return to your original position. Watch the flow of my movements as I demonstrate.
All right, well, it's been a pretty crazy last couple of weeks. Geez, when did I last stream? Was it 3 weeks ago? Was it Monday the 5th, right? That was the last time I did a stream. And, you know, I remember I was saying during basketball season, I was saying that I would be surprised if I had this baseball model done by Memorial Day. But no, I put my head down and I got it done, and I did 2 weeks worth of testing and found some bugs, fixed those, and I felt like tonight was a good night to get things underway. You know, Tuesday nights are the best nights for baseball because all 15 teams usually play on Tuesday, or all 30 teams, and there's 15 games, and there's usually no day games, so they all fall within the night window. So if I do continue to do baseball streams, it's going to be on Tuesday nights, just because that's the most ideal day. So here's my dashboard for baseball. It's not too different than my basketball one, but there's some changes. So right now, I'm only betting money lines, run lines, and totals. As far as prop bets is concerned, I still need to code a framework for that. I just haven't got to it. Because you know you want to do a framework for stuff like that for key purposes. So run line, total, money line is it for now. So during the testing phase, you know, totals were fine, but money lines and run lines did not do too well. But like I said, I found a few bugs along the way. I'm not saying those were completely the reason that they didn't do well, but one of the bugs would have pertained more to totals, and that was I kept counting. This happened for like a week until I caught it, but I was counting runners that scored runs even after the third out of the inning was recorded. So I got rid of that, and so that because every game was going over by quite a bit, and like unders were never coming up, and so I did some digging on that. The second bug I found was when I actually found it a few days ago if you haven't gone to sportsbettingtruth.com and see my baseball section of my site yet, it's up. You know, it's still not as robust as my basketball one yet, but if you click on the baseball section, you'll see, you know, first of all, you can look at all the projected box scores. So this is like a projected box score for the game, which is pretty cool. I didn't do that for basketball. You know, and then it shows like the weather, the matchup, runs, hits, errors, projected win percentage, run line cover percentage, over under percentage, and then first 5 stats in this column. Although I don't have any first 5 lines, I don't make any first 5 bets, but I have that on there just in case you might find it useful. The values, the plays, and the results. So that's the main page, and then you have my own plays section, which I've been tracking. I haven't actually officially bet them yet until today, but I had been tracking them since the 21st, and they're 14 and 12 for plus 0.8 units. I've only made one money line bet and one run line bet because they've been so bad. If you go back over here, like 28 and 52 minus 27 units, that's pretty bad. But things have been a little bit better since I made a change I think, on the 25th. So just 2 days worth of data, but it's a lot better. I've mainly been making plays on overs and unders so far. Because if you look at the keys for overs is 10 and 5 and unders is 19 and 10. So it's clear that those are not as bad, and that's where I'm making most of my bets. So I just started to do like statistics. So I have power ratings for batters and pitchers right now. It's pretty early. I just started this last night, but this is how I was able to catch another bug I had. So I impute stats for players. They have to have a certain amount of base batters faced for pitchers or plate appearances for batters before otherwise, if not, then I impute stats in there just to like make up the small sample size. Like usually the imputation is their preseason rating projection, which every player has, and that fills in the gaps until enough plate appearances have come up. But I do that, but I forgot to do it for weather and park factors. So if a player only had one at bat and played in like a 40-degree wind in situation in a pitcher's friendly ballpark, his stats would have been much higher than they should have been. Like there was a player for the Braves that was like number 12, even though he had one at bat and he grounded into a double play in that at bat. I was like, why is he so high? Oh, it's because he played against a good pitcher in a bad weather situation, so his stats are being adjusted upwards after one at bat, and I forgot to impute that. So what I learned, thanks to this, is that players with only a few at bats were having inflated stats because of the imputation problems, and so I got rid of that. I fixed that, and ever since then, at least the 2 days worth of data I've seen, things have been better. So these are power ratings. I have the Sports Betting Truth player value for batters and pitchers. So Mike Trout is number 1 for batters. Jacob deGrom is number 1 for pitchers. So this is kind of like the foundation for what the individual player pages are going to be. So eventually I'm going to make it to where you can click on an individual player and see their stats, their split stats, and their play-by-play log. I started working on that yesterday, but I have a long way to go for that. It's a lot of undertaking, but hopefully I'll be able to get there. So there's really 3 projects I'm at right now, and I've kind of slowed down in terms of that because I've been doing so many job interviews over the past couple of weeks. It's almost overwhelming, so I've really wanted to put all my mental acumen into that. And so hopefully I'm coming to the end of the job interview process. I'm in the final stages of like 5 of them right now. I know, right? I would be very surprised if I go 0 for 5 on them in terms of an offer. But I would say at this point the odds are greater that I'm leave Las Vegas rather than stay here. I can't say that. We'll just see how that plays out. So, so the 3 projects I have right now, I already brought up one, was the prop bet framework, so I can like bet on props like first 5 innings, team scores in first inning, run, hit, error, total, some other props that I've seen like that, team totals. Those would all fall under that umbrella because you want to track the numbers that you do for key purposes. Kind of like how I did in college basketball where I had that database of second half numbers I put in manually. It would be the same for baseball because I would have to enter those in manually. So I have an API that pulls these odds right here, but it only does it for run line, total, money line. The other ones would have to be entered in manually because I can't find an API that does give you the like props and stuff. So that's one project. Another project, like I said, is my website, make it more robust. Because the main reason I want to like have individual player pages is for auditing purpose. That's how I catch errors. Is like if a player's stats, individual stats are off, then I can find that could contribute to errors. Because there's a lot of moving parts in a baseball model, and there's bound to be some mistakes I've made that I haven't caught on to yet. So that is another and then the last project is a live betting framework. So on this, I do have live projections, but it's considered, I consider it to be like a quick and dirty live projection. It's a derivative-based projection, and it's not so much based on like the actual Monte Carlo run of my model. So what I do for my Monte Carlo is I simulate the game 2,000 times and just give the average results. So these live projections, it's pretty much like a derivative of the Monte Carlo simulation. So it's not like a true live projection where I like simulate the remainder of the game based on the situation. So I want to create a framework for live betting, which I have not done yet. And if I were to do that, I would probably factor in, besides inning and outs and score, I'd also factor in base runners, maybe who's pitching. But there'd have to be some stuff. There's stuff I could grab from the API, but there'd probably be some manual stuff I'd have to enter in as well. But I would probably reverse engineer my full game Monte Carlo simulation to do live betting inputs. So that's a ways off. So those are 3 things I have that I want to do. But like I said, I want to get this job interview stuff out of the way. So I might put those on the back burner and just stick with what I have right now. And besides, I'd like to see some success with these 3 basic bets before I start branching out. Just to, because if I'm not hitting with these, and it's gonna, you want to make sure you at least have a statistically sound model first. And so I still feel like I need to test a little bit more, even though I'm betting them for real now. That's what I'm doing. So this live projection allows me to calculate what I call the live hold. And that is, this win is at 50-50 right now for the Twins and Indians, right? So what I do is I calculate the Twins' percentage chance of winning times the amount of money I would win if the Twins won, and then the Indians' percent chance of winning times the amount of money I would lose if the Indians won. And that's the live hold. That way you can, it's not all or nothing like my basketball script was. I can calculate, okay, there's an 87.6% chance this game goes over 8.5, which is the bet I have in this game. So that means my live hold on a 1-unit bet is 0.71, right? So it factors in the 12.4% chance that it could still lose, which would be there'd have to be only 2 runs scored for the rest of the game. So that bet's looking pretty good. I also have an over bet in Kansas City and Pittsburgh, which is at 1-1, so about a 56.9% chance of that going over right now, which is less than the 68.2% chance I gave it before the game. I have an over bet right here in the A's-Rays game, which is over 8.5, and then I have over in the Braves game, which is 8.5. They went way over last night. I'm doing that again tonight. I also have the only run line bet of the night on the Braves as well, minus 1.5 for plus 120 for them. And then games to be played later. I don't know how long I'll go tonight. I doubt I'll stay up late for the Rockies and Giants, but I do have another over on the Tigers White Sox over 8. I have an over on the Mariners Astros at over 8.5, and then 2 under bets with the Padres Diamondbacks under 9, and then the Rockies Giants under 8. So that's what I have tonight. Right now the live hold is 5-0, but like I said, a lot of these games are very early, and it's assuming that my pregame projections are right, so I wouldn't take too much into that yet. The only one I would take anything into would be this one right here, the Twins and Indians, where I am giving myself an 87.6% chance of that game going over, which is a good start. All right, so that's kind of the recap of what I've been working on the past 3 weeks. Like I said, I'm in job interview mode right now. I had a 2-hour interview today that I think went pretty well. I was told that was the last part of the process, and I'll know by Friday whether or not I'll be offered for that one. I hope I am, because I thought I gave a pretty good interview today. So it was 2 hours, and I talked to 4 different people for 30 minutes at a time, and I was worried that it was going to be a technical interview, which I usually don't do well in, which might surprise you. I have good technical skills, but a lot of technical interviews are bull crap. Meaning I feel like they're intentionally structured to trip you up rather than show off your skills. But anyway, it wasn't that. I was just able to talk about my work experience, show off work examples, show off my skills according to me. It wasn't like, here's, calculate the FP squared value of blah. It wasn't anything like that. It was more like, okay, what are some examples of project you've done in the past that you're proud of and you can show off? And I was able to do that, and I feel like I was able to put together a good interview. That was one interview that I've made it to the end to. There's a couple I made it to the end to that I ended up not getting, which, it is what it is. I mean, I've hired people before. You're never the only candidate. So whenever you're interviewing for jobs, always know you're never the only candidate, no matter how far along you get. There's always another candidate, and at least one more besides you. So don't assume that you're the only one. But yeah, I think I had a good interview today. I have another interview tomorrow. I have another interview Thursday. So there's like 5 different companies that I'm in the last stages for right now, and I would be very surprised if I go 0 for 5 on them. I really would be. Not saying it can't happen. That would be pretty disappointing, because that means I'd have to go back to square one pretty much. But no, I think I gave a good interview today, and I hope that I at least get an offer. But we'll see what happens after that. All right, so I have the Red Sox and Mets game on. It's 0-0 on the top of the second. I don't have a bet on that game, but I still like to track my model performance anyway. So here are all the plays my model is making. As long as the edge is greater than 0, it falls into the all model. So for example, the run line in the Pirates and Royals game, both teams had a negative edge, as you can see when I come here. So if I zoom in on the Pirates and Royals, the edge for both teams were negative, minus 3.8% for the Royals, minus 0.1 for the Pirates. So not every game has an edge. That's the nature of juice and money lines. But for the most part, they will. And so I like to track the performance of the model overall, because the better that does, the looser your keys will be and the more edges you can find. One thing I do miss is daily fantasy. By the way, Walmart just came out with a watermelon flavored one of these. So I have a power ranking of these flavors. Number 1, which I haven't seen in over a year now, is peaches and cream. I just haven't seen that one. I don't know why. I know it's a rotational flavor, but it's been a while. So that's number 1 in my power rankings. And number 2 is cotton candy. The cotton candy flavor is good, but also I don't know if it's rotational, because in Texas I saw it all the time at Walmart, but here in Las Vegas I only see it occasionally. But that one's definitely number 2. It kind of tastes like a blue icy. If you've ever had a blue icy, that's what it tastes like. Number 3 is drawing a blank here, vanilla cream. I'm a big cream soda guy though. That's number 3 for me. And this is going to be number 4, watermelon. I think this is a very good flavor. They just came out. I've never seen it before, but watermelon. And then number 5, in my opinion, is, let's see, what would number 5 be? I think pina colada. Yeah, pina colada. But I think Kroger has good flavors too. The kiwi strawberry is very good, and so is the mixed berry, and so is the blueberry pomegranate. Those 3 flavors from Kroger. They're 10 cents more than these, though. If that is meaningful for you, 10 cents. I wish they would just come out with a pure coconut flavor though, because you can buy that at Kroger, but it's in a smaller bottle. This is a liter bottle. You can buy maybe a 20-ounce bottle of the pure coconut flavor, and it's also $1 instead of 69 cents or whatever. So yeah, that would be awesome if they did that. But like I said, peaches and cream is number 1, and you just can't find it these days. So this baseball model is, like I said, this is the first night I'm betting for real. So I have these over bets right here. So the Rays got a run in, so that boosted the percentage back up to 72.5% over. 8.5. What did I have it at? I had it at, let me click on the box score. I had it at 5.5 to 6.2. So that's way over 8.5. What's the culprit? Whenever it goes that over, you want to know what the culprit is, and it looks like Frankie Montas is a culprit. He's having a projected average against a 319. That's pretty high. Average of 4.2 runs. Michael Wacha, his average is only 249, average of 3.26 runs, but yeah. I have this number backwards. That number should be right here, and this number should be right here, so I need to fix that. But the Rays bullpen, pretty strong. Their worst guy is probably Trevor Richards. But the A's bullpen is strong, too. But I miss daily fantasy. Going back to that, I honestly like doing daily fantasy for baseball more than betting the games. But it's banned here in Nevada, so I can't do it. But yeah, that's why a lot of this stuff right here that I'm looking at is intended for daily fantasy. I even have a column for daily fantasy. So who's this player? Joey Wendell has an 11.8 average. Who hit the home run? Someone hit a home run for the Rays, though. Let me look who it was, because I'm guessing that's how they scored their one run that inning. Let me get my MLB app up and open. So The A's got the leadoff runner on, by the way. So there was no home run. It was Kevin Kiermaier tripling and then Aroenza driving him home on a ground out. So, yeah, this lineup isn't even what I... So I scraped the projected lineups in the morning from RotoWire, but that lineup is not... Because I have Austin Meadows leading off in my projected lineup, but he's actually batting fourth in this one, and I don't even have Kiermaier in here. Oh, wait, here he is. He led off. So it looks like the players are right. It's just that the order is a little bit off. Let me see if the A's one is right. So So I had Laureano second, but they have Lowry second and Laureano fourth. But it looks like the players are all accurate. Wait, I have Machin in here playing third base. And yeah, so Matt Chapman isn't playing tonight. He's been pretty disappointing this year. He was good last year. He was like a daily fantasy guy who I liked to pick a lot last year, but he hasn't really come through this year. He's got off to a slow start. He's batting. He's not even in the lineup tonight, but he's not playing well. I'm not saying I won't make any live bets using this, at least tonight, but I didn't. This is not programmed for live betting purposes. It's a quick and dirty thing, and also in the last inning or in extra innings, it changes from a projection of win percentage to who's going to score the next run, because the way it's structured, you can't really factor in the last inning properly from a win percentage standpoint. If it's tied, anyway. If it's a tie game. If it's a tie game, then this number changes to next team to score a run percentage. So it's just the nature. It was kind of a clever way how I do the win percentages. It's because you don't want to run your Monte Carlo simulation every time you hit the update button, because that'll just freeze your thing. So I had to come up with a clever way to come up with a close enough. It's more intended to show the live hold rather than for live betting purposes. But I'm not saying it can't be useful, but when I do a live betting thing for this, it's going to be a lot more robust. Let's put it that way. I intend to, like I said, reverse engineer my Monte Carlo run here in Python to... by the way, my Monte Carlo script is almost 4,500 lines, so there's a lot to it. But it's pretty much almost a direct port from my R Monte Carlo that I wrote last year. Wasn't it and I made some changes to it to make it run faster. Because last year I got 1,500 simulations in 30 seconds, and this year I can get 2,000 simulations in 15. So I cut the number of time in half and also increased the number of simulations by 500. So I optimized it. And maybe Python just runs faster. Someone just hit a home run in the Red Sox game. Jeff McNeil. Am I profitable this year? I haven't bet at all this year. This is the first night I've bet on baseball all year. So the testing phase, though, no. Or the all model testing phase, and this is really what the testing phase is about right here. So kind of. How much am I betting on baseball plays? Why does it matter? How is life in Las Vegas besides betting? It's boring. Like I said, the whole mask and social distancing stuff it really kills the vibe here. It really does. So if I end up leaving, I'm not going to be that sad about it. And like I said, I would say the odds at this point that I leave are greater than the odds that I stay. The blog button on my site doesn't work. I don't know why. I mean, it's linked to the sportsbettingtruth.com/blog. That's weird. That is so weird. If you type in sportsbettingtruth.com/blog, it works. Or why does it redirect there? That's so weird. I don't know. It's doing an auto redirect for some reason. I'll have to fix it later. That's weird. But yeah. I feel like my content should be worth watching regardless of how much money I bet on games. Because there's bet size shamers that come out and they're like, oh, you're not a real bettor unless you're betting $1,000 a game. Okay, the guy who lives above me he runs a book, a private book, and he shows me his like clients betting, and these people are betting like $5,000 a game on like 18 multi-sport parlays, and they're losing. So the amount of money you bet on a game has nothing to do with whether or not you know what you're doing. It doesn't. Like I said, if the amount of money you bet on a game correlated to how much acumen you have, then the guy above me would be cleaned out because all of his clients are, they all bet at least $1,000 on games and they're not winning. And I'm not saying I bet $20 a game either. I bet I bet much more than that, but bet size shaming is a problem because it leads to problem gambling. It does, because people think that, you're not a real bettor unless you're betting this amount of money, and it can be negative. But, yeah. I will say that the number of digits that I bet on games is 3. So it's a 3-digit figure. I'm going to leave it at that because I feel like ultimately it doesn't matter. And I say that not to be, combative or anything like that. Yeah. Like I have people all the time in my comment section. Like I had a video when I hit 500 subscribers back in 2019, placing my first ever $500 bet, and a lot of people use that as an opportunity to shame me. Oh, you're only betting $500, like as if the amount of money you bet on games directly correlates to how how much you're talking about and stuff like that. And that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't bet to make money, so to speak. For me, betting is a validation of my methods. Like, even if that's what it is. Because even if I had a really, really good model, I would not trust it enough to go all in on it. I'm sorry. Like when my college basketball second half models were on an absolute tear back in February, I could have gone all in, so to speak, and rode that wave, but I didn't because there's a chance that the clock strikes midnight, and then what, right? So I'll probably never get to the point where I'm betting a ton of money on games. I'll never get to that point. I don't want to, because I just, I would never trust what I do enough. Yep, sports statistics. That's what it's about, It was funny, on my interview today, the very first thing the first guy I talked to said brought up my website, sportsbettingtruth.com. I put it in my resume because I feel like it's a kind of a good, it's a good thing to show off, It shows that I'm good with numbers. And all the jobs I'm interviewing for are data science jobs. So, does this not show, data science stuff right here? I mean, I had to take the raw data from MLB, process it, clean it up, compile it, analyze it, spit it out. I got all this code in Python. I mean, I have all these different tabs. So I still think this is interesting right here, the MLB player power ratings. Mike Trout's number 1. So this number right here is pretty much just a weighted on-base average. It's really, But what I was originally doing was showing, I was what's a good way to rank players, right? Because I track 11 different stats from players. Someone from the Red Sox just hit a home run, by the way. But I track 11 different stats. But what's the best way to overall rank players? Because I just don't have the room on the screen to show all 11 stats. And at first, also, if you caught it really early yesterday, I had it split out by a split. So I had batters versus right-hander, batter versus left-hander. But I felt like that was kind of misleading because there would be some players at the top of one split, but at the bottom of others. It was Derek Holland, a pitcher for the Giants. Where's he at? Derek Holland. Where's he at? Because I want to use him as an example. He was the reason I switched to an overall ranking instead of splitting it out. Man, he must be at the very bottom. Maybe he got filtered. Let me search for him. Derek Holland. There he is. He's for the Tigers, not Giants, my bad. So he's at the very bottom, right? And that's because he almost exclusively faces right-handed batters. But against lefties, he was like 5th place. Against lefties, he was number 5 in the versus left-handed batter power rankings for pitchers. But since managers don't send out lefties to face him, he faces almost exclusively righties. He's at the bottom because he is very bad against right-handed pitchers. And when I get to the point on the website where we're able to click on individual players and view their stats, you'll see his splits. I mean, you can even see that right now on Fangraphs, how bad he is against right-handed batters. By the way, the roster resource section of Fangraphs is why I think you should donate to them. It's awesome. So does Derek Holland even pitch for them right now, or is he in the mine? Oh, yeah, he does. He's in their bullpen. So if you click on his splits. So against right-handers, his average against is 458. And against lefties, his average against is 143. So that's why, yeah, he is not good against righties at all. And that's what it was like last year, too, for him when he pitched for the did he pitch for the he pitched for the Giants or White Sox last year? I remember when he pitched for the Rangers back 10 years ago, and he was pretty good. He just hasn't been able to keep it going. Like, I remember the Rangers were up 2-0 on the Blue Jays in the ALDS in 2015, and he started Game 3 at home, and he just dropped a total stinker, and that's what really gave the Blue Jays second life in that series and led to the bat flip game. Like, probably 2 of the most epic MLB playoff moments in the last decade. The Rangers were on the wrong side of both of them. It's tough being a Rangers fan, and they're just terrible again this year. So the Rangers, worst team in the American League this year. So yeah, so park factors are tough. I calculate park factors separate from the weather. So what I do is I have the Savant database. Let me see if I can illustrate how I do park factors with the Savant database. So here's my Savant weather database, and so what I'll do is I'll calculate the weather adjustment over here and then group that down, and then I'll group it down by ballpark. So for example, like the Rockies, they have a park factor worthy ballpark. Then I'll just calculate the averages of all the events for the Rockies. It's hard to illustrate. I had such a hard time explaining it on the video I did on the subject. It's just one of those things. Pretty much park factors are how many runs a team allows and scores in their own ballpark, and then how many runs a team allows and scores in other ballparks. And it's pretty much the difference between those two things. But like I said, the reason I do it after weather is because the Rockies do play a lot of games in the summertime with high temperatures, like in the 90s. And I've learned that temperature correlates very much to higher scoring. So how much of the Rockies' park factor is weather and how much of it is elevation? Same with the Giants. They play most of their games in temperatures in the 50s or 60s, even in the summer. How much of the Giants' park factor is because of their weather and how much of it is it because of their dimensions and, stuff like that, elevation, because they play at sea level. The lower the elevation, the harder it is to hit the ball far. So that's why you want to strip the weather out of park factors and then do the park factor. I call it the weather neutralized park factor. So I'll show you what the final product looks like. So stats, it's at the bottom. So weather neutral park factors, 2021. So this is park factors with the weather effects taken out. And so for like home runs, the Reds are still at the top, followed by the Dodgers and the Reds again. So the Reds have the most home run friendly ballpark in baseball. The Rockies are number 5 for left-handed hitters, but factoring out, you think they would be higher when you factor in, but the weather has a lot to do with the Rockies park numbers. It does. Like I said, they play a lot of games in the 90s. It gets hot in Denver in the summer. It does. I was there last summer. It was hot. Yeah. So the worst ballpark for home runs is Oakland. No surprise for left-handers. That wall is very high, and they play at sea level in the dead air of the Bay Area. And the Rangers, I'm surprised. So the Rangers had probably one of the most home run friendly. Let me look at the 2018 park factors, because that was the last year. Or 19. That was the last year the Rangers played in their old ballpark. And I want to say for left-handed batters at the Rangers ballpark, that was one of the most home run friendly parks there were. Let me see if I'm right. They were in the top 10. But remember, this is weather neutral. So I bet if you didn't take the weather out, they would probably be number 1. Because the Rangers' old ballpark was the hottest average temperature of any ballpark in baseball. A lot of games where the start time temperature was in the upper 90s or hundreds. Especially day games. I don't get it. Like, it used to be when I was younger that the Rangers almost never played day games in the summer because it was just too hot, but they stopped doing that. But now their new ballpark is very unfriendly for home runs for left-handed hitters, and I haven't been there yet. I do plan on going there when I visit home, hopefully within the next month or two. But I'm surprised. You know, it's an indoor park, but you think maybe they designed it that way to get better free agent pitching contracts. I don't know. How'd I go about learning Python? Are there any sources you recommend? Python, great question. So I took some Python classes in college, part of my major, but you know, if I, was not going to do it in a classroom setting, there's a lot of good websites. I want to name one of them exactly, but I'm still angling for a sponsorship from them. I bring this up every time almost, but it rhymes with Meta Lamp. That's what I'll say. But it's $150 for a year's subscription, and I think it's very worth it. That's what I had my employees at my previous job do to get better at Python and R and everything like that, because they didn't have time or the money to take college classes. But I would send them to that website, and I feel like it's very good for learning Python and R. Now, you're not going to get you're going to get what you put into it, and I'm not saying you'll snap your fingers, do it for a week, and you're going to know Python. I mean, these are like, almost like online classes in a way, but you do it at your own pace. And I endorse them fully for my own employees that I've had under my wing in the past. I just don't want to name them exactly because, like I said, I hope they sponsor this channel one day because I believe this channel could drive a lot of people to it. When it comes to building models, like I always say start simple and work and gradually advance, because building models is always about trial and error. It really is. It's about trial and error. You learn what works, what doesn't. You learn basic concepts, and then you can gradually advance it. I look into it like a fish tank. Now, back in Kentucky, I'll show you pictures of this. I used to have a saltwater fish tank when I lived in Louisville, Kentucky. Let me see if I have any pictures of it. Tank, yeah. It was awesome. I really liked it. These are all mostly videos, actually. Hang on, let me see if I can find any pictures of my actual tank. and not a video. Okay, here's one. I mean, it's just, anyway, so here's a picture of my saltwater fish tank that I had, a picture of my fire fish. But yeah, I had a saltwater fish tank. And the thing about saltwater fish tanks is that they're not for beginners. If you've never had a fish tank in your life, I would not start with saltwater. It's, there's a lot more you have to keep track of, a lot more parameters you need to keep in line, especially if you want to keep corals, you got additional things, more equipment. So it's different than having a freshwater tank. And even then, within saltwater tanks, you have different levels of progression. Like there's some corals and fish that require like expert level attention to detail, right? And so it would be really stupid if you were a saltwater fish tank owner to jump straight away to keeping the hard corals and hard fish to keep, right? No, if you're starting out in saltwater, you want to get the basics down first of having a saltwater tank. Find out if it's even for you, right? It's not for everybody because it takes more work and attention to detail. So anyway, the analogy I'm using here in terms of a model is you want to start simple and gradually advance. Like learn the basic concepts first. Like in saltwater tanks, you want to learn the basics like water changes, pH parameters, ammonia, sumps, and everything like that. You want to learn the basics first and then gradually advance. And same thing with building a model. Learn the basic concepts first, like opponent adjustments, different types of prediction models, neutralization, data collection. You don't want to overwhelm yourself from the start. So even if it's not going to, trust me, the simpler models that you make are probably not going to be profitable, but maybe they will be. But the thing is, you still need to start somewhere. And so even if they're not profitable, they can help you learn the basics and help you learn trial and error. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, and I still am learning new things. So you got to start somewhere. So start simple. Don't overwhelm yourself. And you also have to have a knack. You have to have a passion for numbers. If you don't like numbers, if you don't like statistics and analytics, if you don't like any of that stuff, you're not going to have the patience because a lot of this takes patience. Like building this baseball model, yeah, I was able to do it in about a month, but that was, around the clock hard work. If I didn't have a passion for this stuff and a passion for numbers and analytics, I would have just said to hell with it and just said forget it, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of stress, but you gotta enjoy it for more than just using it to win money with and bet on with. You have to enjoy it. Like I enjoy this stuff right here, the numbers, just like the numbers, like the statistic part of it. Like even without the betting stuff, I enjoy this stuff right here, being like a numbers nerd with baseball stats and college basketball stats. You have to enjoy that part of it or you're never going to make it. How does my model accommodate for extra innings? That's a good question. I'll show you. There is a doubleheader. When was the last doubleheader? Wasn't the other night with Madison Bumgarner throwing the no-hitter? Yeah, so I factor it in. So as you can see on the box score here, everything dropped off after the 7th inning. So I factor that in. Here's how I do it. So my baseball model, so I have what's called the stage manager, and this is kind of where I collect all the data for the day. So all this data right here is scraped, but I have a column right here, the doubleheader column, and I'll just put a 1 if it's a doubleheader. And that way my Monte Carlo system knows to only do a 7-inning game instead of a 9-inning game. Let's see. So this is what I call the stage manager. So right here is where I do the bullpen. So I copy and paste. You can't scrape it, unfortunately, but I copy and paste all the bullpens from Fangraphs. That's how I keep track of every team's bullpen. The stage, so this is all scraped from RotoWire. At least this part is scraped from RotoWire. The team, the matchups, the starting pitcher, and then the hands and everything. The weather I scrape from RotoWire as well, but it's not always accurate, so I double check it against weather from another site just to make sure it's accurate. There's some manual stuff I have to do. Game number, in case it's a doubleheader, there'll be a 2 next to the second game of the doubleheader. That way for matching up the right game for odds and betting purposes. These are just the IDs of the starting pitchers. Some of them you have to fill in manually because they're rookies and don't have an ID yet. This is what I call the ID count. So it looks up the player's ID based on their name, but there's some players like Luis Garcia and Luis Castillo where there's more than one Luis Castillo. So if there's a 2 there, then you want to make sure it has the right Luis Castillo ID, for example. And if it's a 0 like Chichi Gonzalez, I don't know why he comes up as a 0 because he's been playing for a while and he has an ID and everything, but I think just I think in the database he has like the A has that little like slash above it, and that's why it doesn't match up fully. But I have this match thing right here where players that are problems, it gives them the right ID. So anyway, that's why it's red because it's in there. It's a imputed ID. DH already talked about, and then we have the odds. So I have an odds scraper or an API. So it just pulls odds from an API, so I don't have to enter them in manually. The only time I have to enter them in manually is for a second game of a doubleheader, which sucks. But and then the lineups, this is scraped from RotoWire as well. These are just projected lineups. For the most part, they're accurate. And like with the stage, it looks up their ID based on their name. But if there's a problem, if there's a duplicate, like there's 2 Jose Ramirez's, for example, or a 0 for Andres Jimenez, I have the match column, which puts in the right ID for the problems. And then I click this button, and if it's 0, that means all the lineups are good to go. Odds, already talked about it. Info, this is just like matching abbreviations with full names. And my API key is in there. This is like a database of every player I have going back to 2008. And I update this every Wednesday. So I'll add new players to the bottom. So here's all the new players that have played this year. The prop state, this is where I'm ultimately going to put prop bets when I get to that point. But like I said, it's blank. Bullpen check. So I click on the bullpen check button on the stage to make sure none of these pitchers are currently in the bullpen, right? So Tommy Milone, he started for the Blue Jays tonight, but he was in their bullpen. And so the problem is if you run your Monte Carlo with a starting pitcher who's also in the bullpen, and then the Monte Carlo brings in that pitcher out of the bullpen, even though he started, it screws things up. So I need to make sure that the bullpen does not contain a starting pitcher. So I had to, replace Tommy Milone in the Blue Jays bullpen with somebody else. So I plan on doing a live stream on one morning, maybe in the next week or two, showing the morning routine. It's a lot faster than it was last year because I was able to optimize some code and do things smarter. I would say start to finish, it depends. If there's a doubleheader, it kind of complicates things a little bit. Not really that much, but I would say it takes about 15, 20 minutes every morning. But on Wednesdays, I update the master ID file right here. And then on Fridays, I update every team's bullpen. So the bullpen takes about 15 minutes to update every Friday. So that is the stage manager. But most of this information is scraped. Everything but the bullpens. How's the data being pushed through in real time? Well, this is just pulling from the API like my college basketball system did. Why is this frozen? Yeah, it pulls from ESPN's API. The live projection is just a derivative from the Monte Carlo outputs. It's kind of like a clever way. So I have this called the RHE right here. So this is how I calculate live projections. So here's the Twins right here. So in the first inning, based on the 2000 simulations, 3.8% of the time the Twins had 0 runs remaining. So this is pretty much a calculation of runs remaining. So in the 9th inning, the Twins had 70.7% of the time have 0 runs remaining. That's how I calculate win percentage. So it's not a true Monte Carlo run. But that's how I did it. And so for there, I can calculate holds. So this number keeps going down because the Royals and Twins aren't scoring enough right now. Why am I Why is my watch going off? Yeah, the Royals and Twins aren't scoring enough right now. So I only have about a 1 in 6 chance of that going over now. This is a 50-50 at this point. This number, the Braves and Cubs have not gotten anything going yet. So, yeah, this number was 14-5 maybe 15 minutes ago, and now it's 11-12. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's a live hold. It's not like all or nothing projection like my basketball model was. And this is just all model. These are the things I actually bet on right here. So how did I create my models? I did it in Python. Yeah, at the old Rangers ballpark, there was a thing in the back called the Diamond Club behind home plate, and it caused a wind tunnel effect. Yep. Yeah, I think they're going to move the walls in at the Rangers Park as well. I don't want them to. I think the Rangers should build themselves around pitching and defense, but that's me. But the team's identity, their whole way has been offense. It always has been. How's the model going? Well, the testing phase was hit or miss, but I'm confident enough to get going with it. Did I use linear regression? I use linear regression for weather adjustments, but the prediction itself is a Monte Carlo run. My college basketball model was more complex when it came to prediction types because it was a database-based regression and not a Monte Carlo. The video I uploaded yesterday that I had to delete because the audio cut out halfway through, I went into detail about why I go Monte Carlo instead of database-based model in baseball, and that's because it's the most friendly for doing what I want to do, which is this, coming out with like a box score, projected box score and line score and everything. It's a lot harder to do that with a database-based model. Even though a database-based model could be more accurate in the actual metrics that you use to bet with, like score, total. But, yeah. Do touts still bother me? I had to block a couple of them yesterday. But no, they stopped calling me. They haven't called me or anything like that in a few weeks. Yes, it's possible to do it in R. I actually did my baseball model in R last year, and the reason I moved it over to Python was because I just felt like I hadn't worked on, because I was all R at my last job and not enough Python, and I wanted to make sure I was sharp with Python as well for job interviews, because I've been doing a lot of job interviews, and I wanted to make sure I was, sharp. Yeah, baseball is pretty random. I learned that last year. I don't use umpire data. I've talked about that before, but I just think the juice isn't worth the squeeze for that. How you doing, Eric Catherine? Yeah, so things are not trending good right now, but my live hold is still pretty even. It just went back up for some reason. What happened? Why did my live hold just go up? Oh, because the Braves... no, something happened. And this watermelon flavor is pretty good. I'm surprised it took them this long. But like I said, the peaches and cream. Where has peaches and cream been? Best flavor of these. Peaches and cream. Like, I do like the peach flavor by itself, and you can always find that one at Walmart, but I felt like the peaches and cream flavor gave it like a great comp, because the peach flavor itself is pretty acidic, Like, most fruit is acidic, so that's why you complement it with a base, Strawberries and cream, for example. But the peaches and cream, it's like the perfect balance between, like, acid and base. Like, whenever I find peaches and cream again, I'm going to buy, like, a whole, like, dozen of them. But no, this watermelon flavor is pretty good. Like I said, it's number 4 in my power rating now for these bottles. Number 1, peaches and cream. Number 2, cotton candy. Number 3, vanilla. I think that's what it is. But the cotton candy one's good because it tastes like a blue icy. If you like blue ices. All right, what's the deal with the Braves game? Why did my model have that going so over, the Braves game? I had Braves scoring 7.7 runs against Trevor Williams, who's not that good of a pitcher. But they haven't been able to do anything against him. Trevor Williams, what's his how's he done this year? Yeah. I miss daily fantasy with baseball, but whoops. Dang it. This is like the type of randomness I'm talking about. So Trevor Williams is their pitcher. Yeah, he you know, his stats aren't that bad this year, all things considered. Why is my model not very friendly for him? Oh yeah, because his preseason projection is going to factor in that 6.18 ERA last year. That's probably why. Even he's at a 4.66 this year, but that's still not enough to offset his projection. So that's why. I mean, people are still batting .273 against him, which is pretty good. That's definitely above the league average. Yep. So, but yeah, he's solving the Braves tonight. But they got no hit by Madison Bumgarner the other night. So. Yeah. R and Python are both great. You can do websites with R. I like R. If I could only choose one, and I was asked this twice today in my interview, if I could only choose one, I would pick R, because I just feel like their data frames and matrices and everything are more intuitive than Pandas. So, no, you can do both in R. Yeah, my model is off at least in the first 3 innings for the Braves. Have they even got a hit yet? They have 4 hits. They're 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. They left 5 on base. So they've had their chances. They're just not coming through. All right. So the Angels have a runner on third right now, and that would be David Fletcher, who doubled to start the game. Which website do I use for live data? Well, I pull these live scores from ESPN's API. Yeah, I had the over. Like, it was just an air bet because I didn't bet for real last night. But I'm pretty sure I had the over in the Braves game last night, which I did. Yeah, it went way over 8.5 last night. But a rare run line bet. I've only bet one run line in this testing phase, and that was also the Braves back on April 21st. But yeah, I'm like a huge statistics nerd, and that's why I like baseball so much, because it's like the best sport when it comes to statistics. But I keep it simple, though. I really do. I only measure 11 stats. Like, I only measure 11 stats. I can show you which 11 I measure, and I derive everything from those things. I also measure errors, but they're not a part of the stat frame. So, like, left-handed batters versus left-handed pitchers 2021. Right, so I measure doubles, fly ball outs, ground ball outs, home runs, line drive outs, pop outs, sacrifices, bunts, singles, strikeouts, triples, walks, and then plate appearances. You need that for percentages. Yeah, I just flip back negative. So these 2 pair of 1-1 games are kind of hurting me right now. I still need one more run in this game, though. This was at 88%, but now it's at 71%. When would I consider live betting during a baseball game? Whenever I have a process that I trust. I haven't built a process yet to live bet with the stuff yet. Like these numbers right here are like serviceable, but I don't know if I would live bet based on them. I would want to run my Monte Carlo script based on the current game situation to live bet with, and I just haven't got there yet. Like I said, making these models is stressful, and I don't want to say I'm burned out, but with my college basketball model that never seemed to end, and then hunkering down to get my baseball model done, I'm just, you sometimes you just want to take a break, and especially when I have the added stress of job interviews right now, it's a challenge. Yeah, Paul Goldschmidt has been bad this year. I noticed that too. Is he in their lineup? Yeah, he is. No, I get my model. I have a whole video on data sources, mind traveling. If you want to get more information on that, you can watch it. But I get it from MLB StatCast. I get the live scores from ESPN API. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, I just have an API that I dump everything into right here, and I just read off of this. They're all data science jobs, but only one or two of them would let me stay here in Las Vegas. The other ones I would have to move for. So, like I said, there's 5 I'm in the end stages with, and I would be very surprised if I go 0 for 5 on them. But the worst part about job interviews is just, the company I interviewed with today has been the best as far as transparency and like making sure they don't leave you hanging on a cliffhanger and letting you know what the deal is, what the next step is, blah blah blah. And other places you like talk to them, you interview with them, and then now what? You hear nothing from them. They don't tell you. They're not transparent. They don't tell you the next steps or anything like that. They don't even tell you that you've been rejected. Like, there's some places you interview for them and you never hear from them again. Like, at least send like a courtesy email saying, "Hey, you're out of the running," instead of just going full ghost. But I've hired people in my past roles, and I would always stay on top and not leave them hanging. I'd let them know what the deal was. No, I don't have the framework for prop bets yet. I think I have that in my ticker below. Let me see if that's in my ticker. It's in the text file, right? Yeah, I just don't have a framework for prop bets yet. Yeah, MLB live betting and prop bet modules are still in development. So that is that. I just don't want to make any off-the-cuff bets without a framework in place. You got to exercise discipline. I want to, though. Trust me. I want to do prop bets, and I don't even think any of my books offer player props, to be honest with you. I've looked. Let me look again. Maybe they have them now. That was mainly like a college basketball Sweet 16 and beyond thing, though. So on Westgate, I'm pretty sure they don't offer player props. Nope. On Westgate, it's first 5, alternate run line, score in first inning, and team totals. So that's Westgate. And then Circa I think Circa is the same, but they have run, hits, and errors totals. And then at BetMGM, if they have any player props, I haven't seen them there. Right, Robert Hunt? It's like, don't call us, we'll call you. It's like when I hire people, when I have done that in the past, I would like, make sure because it's the most stressful thing in the world is a job interview process. It really is, because you never know where you stand. I will say this, though, that you're never the only candidate. I said that at the beginning of the call. There's no player props on BetMGM either. So yeah, I wouldn't know where to bet those at. But you never know where you stand, and it's like okay. When I was a hiring manager, I made sure to let people know where they stood. But you're never the only candidate. There are always, you want to have a choice. You want to, pick from a pool. I would be very concerned if you were the only candidate for an interview. I would put it that way. But yeah, they're all data science jobs. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to give any details, because I'm still in the process with all of them. I have a hierarchy. Like if all 5 of them offered me, though, I do have a pecking order. Like I would say one of the 5 is like a pretty distant 5th place, and like if they were the only one to offer me, I don't even know if I would take it. They would have to give me a pretty enticing offer for me to take that one, but it's, it never hurts to interview. You want to get good at interviewing. You want to do as many interviews as possible so you get good at it and, know what to take into into account for other interviews. But I don't want to give out too many details, but basically I applied for them. They got in contact with me, and the location is not great. It's not terrible, but it's not like it's not in my top 10. And so I figured, the job title and everything, at least the pay would be high, but it's actually not. So if they were going to pay me what we discussed, I would say no. So if they were the only one to offer me, then I would play hardball, and if they stuck with what we originally talked about, I would just have to pass. So it's pretty much a job at this point where they would have to go up on what we talked about on the phone screen. No. William Hill's going to be the same. William Hill's not going to change despite being bought out. All right, let's see how I'm doing now. Things aren't looking good, though. This number continues to drop. At least we got a run here in the Tigers game. I guess that's good. But my live hold percentage is still... I'm kind of worried about this one, though. I still need one more run here, and this number's now at 67. It was at 90% not too long ago. Yeah, there's only a 6% chance that this Pirates-Royals game goes over now. The A's game's about a 1-3. The Cubs is about a 31% chance. This one right here is at 69%, and this one's at 57%. All right, I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. So the interview I have tomorrow is the lowest paying of the 5, but it has, in my opinion, the best location. It's not Las Vegas, and it's also the biggest slam dunk, in my opinion. Like, I feel like I'm the most qualified for that position, and I feel like I would have the best chance of succeeding in that role and would enjoy it. So that's why, I'm going through with it. It's not always about pay, There's a lot of things that go into account. Let's see. Last year I had MLB TV, but I haven't subscribed to that this year. Because I like to have MLB TV last year when I was doing daily fantasy. This chat's a lot better without all the trolls. It really is. That was the worst. Not having to worry about people like, it wasn't just the touts, but it was the people who are just coming to stir the pot, get people riled up and everything. Like, remember the people just kept coming in waves asking about, like, the vaccination? Like, this isn't a politics chat, guys. This is a sports betting stream and chat. So please take your politics elsewhere. Yeah, daily fantasy's banned here in Las Vegas. I think we all know why. The gaming commission says it's because, DraftKings, FanDuel, and all them don't want to apply for a license. But I think it's because the casinos don't want the competition, so they make it very hard for DraftKings and FanDuel and everybody to get a license. I think it's because the casinos and books don't want a competition. So I'm like, if I were the Westgate or something like that, I would create my own daily fantasy service. But that's me. You can drive to the border in California and place your daily fantasy bets if you really wanted to, but it takes like 35 minutes to get from here to Prim, where the border is. I'm still waiting for it to warm up here. Yeah, the Gamatra. There's been more than one Gamatra dude. There is one in my comment section in my video the other day. But yeah, those people are annoying. I'm waiting for it to get warmer here. It's supposed to finally get into the 90s. Let me look at the weather forecast. It's supposed to finally get into the 90s on Friday. Because I went to the pool at my apartment complex this past weekend, and the water was freezing, even though it was probably 85 degrees outside. And I never understood this when I went to San Diego either, or when I was at what was it called? Mackinac City up in Michigan's Upper Peninsula back in the summer. Like, I don't get how people can swim in that cold water. Like, in San Diego, you'd go to the beach and it would be like 65 degrees out and people would be swimming in it. I'm like, how? Maybe it's because I'm from Texas and we wouldn't get in the pool unless the water temperature was at least 85 degrees. If it was colder than that, it was too cold. And I'm not joking. We had like a thermometer in the pool and we would check it, and if it wasn't 85, we wouldn't get in. But yeah, like you would go to the beach in San Diego and they'd have on the whiteboard, water temperature 59 degrees, and people would still get in it and like it seemed like they had no problem at all. I don't get that. But yeah. There are kids swimming in the pool at my apartment complex this past weekend, but I dipped my foot in the water and I said, no way. No way. It was warm enough to just lay on the beach chairs for a couple hours, but yeah, I'm not getting in that water. But I'm waiting for it to warm up so I can get in the water. Yeah, but like I said, there's a chance I might not be here for much longer. I'll probably... No matter what happens, unless whatever company hires me wants me to move right away, if I have to leave Las Vegas, I probably won't do it until my lease is up on June 28th. Like, I would be very surprised if a company's like, no, we want you in X city now. I'm pretty sure they would, everyone's still pretty much work from home anyway. So I'd probably live out the rest of my lease and then move. So I'll be here for at least 2 more months. Most likely. like I said, it's just the vibe here is what. This is the second time I've lived here, and the vibe has just been totally different. All the COVID restrictions, masks, social distancing just kills the vibe of the city. It really does. It's just not the same. Like there was a convention. There was a cheerleading convention here, because I run at the Red Rock. I go to the Red Rock Casino every Saturday to run. That's usually where I start, and then I run around the streets around Red Rock. And there's a cheerleading convention there, but this city thrives on the convention industry. And as long as people aren't having conventions, the city's going to suffer. Yeah, when I lived in Iowa, I moved to Iowa in April 2014, and I remember it was cold for like the first week I was there. And then after that, the weather was awesome all the way up until about mid-November. So you had a good 6 months of great weather in Iowa. But that winter was pretty cold. I remember the weather was fine because I remember I had bought an Audi TT Roadster. And I remember I was driving it around Cedar Rapids with the top down in November. But then I went to my cousin's wedding in Philadelphia one weekend, and then I flew back to Cedar Rapids from Philadelphia, and there was snow everywhere. And I couldn't even find my car in the airport parking lot because it was buried. So it's like the light switch came on in a hurry and went into winter mode pretty fast. Are there any runs being scored in any of these games? Okay, the Pirates got one, but still, it's only an 11% chance. Still not scoring any runs here. Still not scoring any runs here. Okay, we got 2 runs here, so we got a 77.7% chance. So we still haven't got the run I need here. So this is now down to 67%. I'm starting to kind of get a little nervous. Just need one more run. I wonder why I didn't have a bet on this game. I guess it didn't meet the key, because my model did have over in the Blue Jays Nationals game, which it's already gone over, but I filmed a video before coming on stream that I'll upload tomorrow morning. I don't know when I'll be able to get to re-recording that video I had last night that I had to take down. I'll get to it at some point. It's just that I'm so wrapped up in interviews right now. Like I did some meal prepping today. Because I got all these interviews coming up, and I just don't want to be bogged down with stuff like that. And Kevin Pillar is batting .087. I mean, he was never a good offensive player, but still. I still remember when the Rangers and Blue Jays had their fight 5 years ago, and I just remember him running in, like, throwing fists, like, without even looking where he was punching. Like, if you watch the replay of that fight, you'll just see him, like, coming and just throwing fists. He didn't even know he was throwing punches, too. Oh, wait, I got to run. All right, so 100%. So I got a winner. The Twins scored a run, thankfully. Who scored in the Rangers-Angels game? It was a solo home run by Nick Solak, who's actually been one of the bright spots for the Rangers this year. Him and Adolis Garcia. But everyone else has been pretty lousy. I still think the Rangers need to trade Joey Gallo. I just don't think he's the guy. All right, so Kevin Pillar got a hit. What did I have his pregame projection at? Oh man, website, you gonna go slow on me now? Is someone DDoSing my website? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. I can't get to MLB.com. Okay, now I can. Okay, there we go. I didn't even have Kevin Pillar in the lineup. So this is down to 25% right here. This is down to 21%. Man, you know what drives me nuts on YouTube is the videos that are like, do this and you will win betting on sport. I hate that. Let me see if I can find any that I can refer to. I have a lot of watch videos on my suggested list because I just bought this Garmin watch a couple days ago. I had a Fitbit, but I mean it was just like $100 Fitbit, and it broke when I was at Vail on the mountain, and I lost it. So, but I like this watch because it lets me track my running. You know, I go and run 10Ks and stuff like that. But let's see. All right. So let me see if I can find any bad sports betting YouTube videos on my suggested list. A lot of hockey videos. I like to watch old Dallas Stars videos. Memory lane. I don't see. A lot of times I'll get these like crappy sports betting recommendations for like stupid sports betting topics. What if I click on the sports betting thing? Yeah, Wager Talk. I already talked about how much they suck. Okay, this video right here. Like, the number one betting strategy that actually works. It has 691,000 views, and you know what the strategy is? I've watched the video before because he came out with a follow-up. It's arbitrage betting, guys. It's arbitrage. Basically, like, yeah. I just hate videos like this. I hate them. Hate them. What else? Like videos like this, like 5,200 a month passive income. Screw that. Even though it's not sports betting, so Pick Dogs is garbage. By the way, they're horrible. Don't use them. Betting Panda. How to always profit with betting. Whatever. 37,000 views. So, like, that's why those videos have so many views. People would rather be told, do this and you will win, than like actual facts. It's easier to believe a comforting lie than a hard truth. And crap like this, how to always profit with betting 100%, is a comforting lie, is what it is. People would rather be, you know. Here's another one. The unbeatable roulette pattern. You cannot beat roulette, because if this worked, 252,000 views, by the way. If this worked, then people like me who would be able to go to the casinos around here and clean out the roulette tables. You cannot beat roulette. Like, I've never really watched the daily fantasy videos like this. I wouldn't be able to critique those. I'm sorry. Yeah, like, you just see a lot of these videos like this sure thing, free sports picks. I have a video about, like, this guy's a tout, by the way. There's a guy in my comment section saying he's not, but he is. This better wins sports. He's a tout. He is a tout. They give out free picks. I have a video on that. And part of the reason I made that video is because I see this guy's stupid videos all the time. Because this guy right here, he's like, I've watched his videos before, and he'll be like, I might sell picks, but I do it the right way. I'm not like those bad pick sellers that, like, I don't give a crap. You're still selling picks. But yeah, they give out free picks. It's a lead generation. That's why. How to win at roulette with an advanced system, 220,000 views. Like I said, if there was a system to beat roulette, there is a website, Wizard of Odds. He has a challenge on this website. I wonder if he still has it, the challenge. Basically, he will pay you $20,000 if you can show a way to beat roulette or casino games. He will pay you. The guy who runs this website will pay you $20,000. I don't think he used to have a link to it, like, maybe it's in this right here, the truth about betting systems. But he was like, I will pay you $20,000 if you can mathematically prove a system that will beat a casino game. Here it is, the Wizard of Oz challenge. For 6 years, I offered $20,000 to anyone with a betting system that could show a profit over 1 billion simulations. However, in this time, I only had one serious taker and hundreds of people wasting my time, but never following through, so I took it down. You can run the same challenge on vegasclick.com. So this clown right here, who has a 220,000 views video about how to beat roulette, could $20,000 just like that at vegasclick.com, but no, instead, yeah. Like a winning slot strategy, there is not one. But yeah, like a lot of sports betting YouTube is filled with crap like this 90% guaranteed winning strategy. Like that, but those videos are what get views. Like I could easily get dozens of times more views on my videos if I had garbage like do this and I will guarantee you'll win in the title of my videos, but I don't because it's not true. There is no guarantee. There is no sure thing. There is no easy strategy to follow that will win 100% of the time or even 60% of the time. There's not. But that's what this channel is about. My channel sacrifices getting more views and subscribers for being honest. So. Yeah, that Bender guy is a tout. There's a guy in my comments, maybe one of these notifications I got up here is the same idiot still trying to shill for this guy. No, what is this about? Yeah, my arbitrage. I'm surprised I didn't get more. I thought my arbitrage video was going to get a lot more people whining in the comment section. Because I still have one more arbitrage video I'm going to come out with. Okay, it's this Blue Nowhere guy is like commenting all over my videos about like he's basically a tout shill. He's shilling for touts, and it's annoying. I haven't banned him yet because I'm not going to do that yet. But I told him to go shill for touts elsewhere. Yeah, like that's what I don't like about the Bender guy is he comes out with videos about like how he does things honorably and he's not like those other guys and blah. It's like it doesn't matter. You still sell picks. You still sell picks. See if they got any good news. Oh, this number dropped. What happened? What happened? Oh, the Braves. The Braves came through. They got 2 runs. All right, that boosted my run line right here. All right, good job, Braves. Finally got some runs across. And it was it Ronald Acuna Jr.? Yep. Number 2 in my power rating. Right? Yep, Ronald Acuna Jr., number 2. Only behind Mike Trout, but that home run might... Ooh, Byron Buxton got a... So Byron Buxton was the reason the Twins got that run, and he's number 5. So maybe Ronald Acuna passed Mike Trout with that home run. Because Mike Trout tonight is 0 for 1. The Rangers have nobody in the top 60 of either. Their best pitcher is number 73 and the best batter is number 72. I tried to make every team's color unique because like a lot of teams share the same color schemes like the Cardinals and Nationals and the Twins and Red Sox and Indians but I tried to make every team's color scheme unique. Like the Orioles and Giants share the same colors. I'm surprised there's not more teams with green in their color. You have the A's, Marlins, and Mariners, and that's pretty much it. You think there would be more teams with green, like the Rays used to. Like there's too many teams that are just red and black or red and white or blue and white. Like I don't see why the Diamondbacks changed to the red color scheme. Why didn't they stay with the purple and green? It was unique. Now they have the same colors as like every other team. All right. This number dropped again. What happened? I don't know. So we got a 1.5% chance of the Pirates and Royals going over. Who bet 0-0? A degenerate. Like anyone who bets single... I think anyone who plays roulette... Like roulette is one of the worst games you can play from a house edge perspective. The house edge is so high on roulette compared to blackjack or craps. Like I want to say the house edge for a 00 roulette wheel for the single number bets is like 4% maybe. That Wizard of Oz site has it, but roulette's such a terrible game, like in terms of the odds. But there's people, I still talk to them today who insist they have like a system to beat roulette with, and I'm like, okay, good luck. Go ahead and do that. It's almost always a martingale. I had a friend, when we were in college, I had a friend drive up to WinStar at the border in Oklahoma and use a martingale system at roulette. And, like, he won money because, you know, but still, it's playing with fire is what it is. Man, there's still college basketball commercials. March Madness ended 3 weeks ago. But, you know, they got to get the inventory out somehow. All right. I think I'm going to go till 7 o'clock tonight. So for about another hour. This isn't going to be like college basketball where I do this all day. I just wanted to do a stream to kind of commemorate the launch of this model, update you guys on the progress and everything else like that, kind of show it in action. Oh no, this number dropped to 5. What happened? I mean, nothing happened. It's just a... Man, Ole Miss fires their offensive line coach during the spring. Now that's ridiculous. I couldn't even imagine. Like, I don't think I ever had to deal with a coach getting fired when I was at TCU. So I don't know what it's like. Like, not even an assistant coach. Wait, what the hell? Okay, yeah, this is a problem that I've seen come up like in the middle of the 8th and 9th innings where this number goes to like a ridiculous percentage. It'll change once it goes. I don't know why it does that, but I'll fix it eventually. Yeah, it happens between the 8th and 9th innings for some reason. So when this goes to the top of the 9th, then it'll be fixed. Yeah, no casino game is beatable unless it specifically says it's beatable. Like there's video poker machines over at Four Queens, and they have signs above the machines that says, with an arrow pointing to it, that says this machine pays back 100% or more. But even then, even if the video poker machine pays out 100%, even if you work the machine all day and everything, like you're still limited. You know, you can only bet like $1.25 at a time, so it's not like you're gonna make any crazy money off of it. But no, there's people that people that you talk to that insist they have it all figured out. Like they're the only person in a world full of people like me with brilliant statistical minds that, they're the only ones who know the way to beat craps or roulette or blackjack or whatever. Like I'm telling you, if these games are beatable, then people like me that have like amazing statistical minds would go and clean these places out. I mean, people just don't think. So the state of Louisiana got rid of their mask mandate today. Yep. I've always said the easier the game is to play, the higher the house edge is going to be. Like slot machines, you just have to press a button and they have the highest house edge. Roulette has a pretty high house edge. All you have to do is put a button on a number, a chip on a number. Like craps, video poker, and blackjack take a little bit more thinking. Although craps is really only the best bet you can make in craps is don't pass and max odds, right? It doesn't take a lot of thinking to do that. But blackjack and video poker, you kind of have to like at least know basic strategy in both to get the most. But even then, no, I don't think Bumgarner's no-hitter should count. I do not. I also hate the fact that baseball is playing 7-inning doubleheaders. I don't get it. I don't see why they're doing it. It makes no sense to me at all. I believe every team should play 162 9-inning games. I do. This game's almost over. 2.2% chance of the game going over somehow. Basically, I need extra innings in the Royals-Pirates game to have a chance. Any other good news? Nope, not a lot of good news on this front. I don't think Nevada books will. Like I lived here in 2012 during the Olympics, and you couldn't bet on the Olympics here. Not even basketball. Overseas books will, but not stateside books. That might be different this year. I don't know. That was 2012. But you think if you could, you'd at least see futures and stuff like that showing up for like basketball, and I haven't. So. All right, the Royals-Pirates game is over. So that is a loss. So I need maybe the A's and Rays to get some scoring going. I need the Braves to score some more runs. I need the pace to pick up in the Pirates or the Tigers and Mariners games. Darwinzon. The Red Sox have a player named Darwinzon. Here he is. He's warming up right now. All right, 6 o'clock. I'm going to go for another hour, but I'm going to take a quick break real quick. Man, you see nothing but personal injury attorney ads here on TV. It's it. I actually called one last week. Maybe I'll go into the story one day, but I don't. All right, here's a auto dealer commercial, so it's at least not personal injury, but that's all you see. You know, I have never played MLB The Show. I mean, I haven't owned a PlayStation since the PS3, which we got for free for going to the Fiesta Bowl. I've never bought a PlayStation before. My favorite MLB team is the Texas Rangers, but they suck. It's been a tough last 5 years of being a fan of them. The A's scored a run. But still, it's only a 20% chance of that game going over. The Rangers just scored 2. I wonder who it was. Joey Gallo. He actually did something for a change. I just don't think he's that. I think the Rangers should trade him. Get something for him. Yeah, I just don't like his. I'm just not a fan of the players that are like home run, strikeout, all or nothing. It's just not fun in my opinion to watch. Man, a lot of red on this model tonight. Like I said, the testing phase has not gone well, at least for money lines and run lines, and that's continued tonight. Yeah, Adolis Garcia, his stats might not be that impressive, but he's had a lot of clutch hits, like game-winning home runs, game-winning hits. That's really where he's come through. Kind of like David Ortiz in a way. So the Astros haven't even gotten a hit yet. Man, the Stars are already down 2-0. Stars are running out of games to make the playoffs. That sucks. So Max Scherzer's the one getting up all these runs. Yeah, college football, which is surprising because I put the least amount of effort into it. But yeah, college football is. I'm on a 4-year winning streak with that one. It's like least amount of effort, but the most success. Which is fine. It's like I said, my model stuff isn't all about winning bets with it. For me, a lot of the enjoyment I get from it is just like being a statistical nerd with it all. So even if this baseball model doesn't pan out, I still have fun with the stats part of it. Same with college basketball. I mean, the stats part is fun as well. Yeah, I mean, everyone I've talked to at TCU says they're going to have 100% capacity for this upcoming season, and I don't see why not. College sports suffer without fans, though. They really do. Ooh, the Rays just scored 2 runs, so what are the percentage at now? So that bumped the over up to about 1-3, which isn't horrible. I still don't know why it does this right here. It's like whenever it's in between the 8th and 9th inning. But yeah, the Rays just scored 2 runs, so that was a positive development. Are the Astros still being no hit though? No, they got 2 on and no out, so that's good for my Astros. Over. What's a realistic annual ROI for a sports bettor using good models? I would say between realistic. If they're good, I would say anywhere between 3 and 8%. Realistically. I believe anything higher than that is either going to be unsustainable or you're being too selective. Like you need to find like my next video that I have coming out touches up on this, but you got to find the right balance between volume and you got to find the right balance. But anywhere between 3 and 8% is going to be the most realistic, in my opinion. Like I want to say my baseball model last year is like 0.1% ROI. All right, the Astros just scored, but how is the question? Sacrifice fly. I needed something more than a sac fly. Oh well, better than nothing. So what did that bump the win percentage up to? 27.8%. I'm tired of this Abby Wambach versus Usain Bolt commercial. I'm tired of it. See a lot of 5G commercial these days. Yeah, the Twins have been pretty disappointing. Even though they've had some like Byron Buxton's playing very well, but yeah, they've been pretty disappointing. They have a worse record than the Rangers. Like their offense, the top four of their order is pretty good, but after that it falls off a cliff. And their pitching just hasn't been there this year. I wonder if anybody watching this stream works at Taco Bell. I mean, it's a valid question in my opinion. Yeah, I think the Twins will ultimately turn it around, but it's been a disappointing start. All right, so the Astros have 2 on, 2 out. could use another run there. The A's got the leadoff runner aboard, which is a positive development as well. Yeah, I had MLB TV last year, but that was just to follow daily fantasy stuff. Man, I am burned out just from the interviews and yeah. Drive-thrus are taking forever these days because fast food restaurants can't find anyone to work there these days. But yeah, the last time I went to Taco Bell was actually when I was doing a stream for college basketball a month or two ago. And I went and got some Taco Bell in the middle of the stream. Does anyone remember that? I mean, Taco Bell isn't terrible. Here's my thing about Mexican food. If I'm going to pay for it, I might as well make it myself. Like, it's so expensive. Restaurants and stuff. Oh, the Astros got another run, by the way. So now it's at 34%. But yeah, like, Taco Bell isn't, but, you know, Taco Bell is what it is. It's fast Mexican food. So, like, I made enchiladas last week to celebrate the end of my cutting diet. And they turned out pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, drive-through lines, everywhere I go these days, the drive-through lines are long. But these places just can't find people to work there these days because people are making more money on like unemployment and stimulus checks and stuff. Like, there's a lot of restaurants here in Las Vegas that have like signs on it. They're trying to pay bonuses to people to work there, like $500 bonuses to work at a fast food restaurant. I'm not kidding. Oh, I don't. I make my own enchilada sauce. It's dark red. Like, I have a video. On my YouTube channel about how I make my enchiladas, and I'm like really because like I'll make a like the ones I made last week are like, let me see if I can show you a picture on my phone of what they look like because I took some pictures. Like, here's a picture of the sauce in the pan. I don't know if you can see it, but here's what they look like when they came out of the oven. So like I make like Tex-Mex ones, and if you look at my YouTube channel, they're called Final Boss enchiladas. But I like go to the store and I try to find like the darkest New Mexico chili pods I can find. So usually I have to go to a Mexican grocery store to find them. You can find them at like Walmart and stuff, but they're not dark enough. You want them to almost be black, like a dark purple to like a dark red, dark purple, black color. And then you toast them in the oven at 250 degrees for about 15 minutes so they become nice and toasted and roasted. Then you put them in a blender and blend them down in a powder. And then my sauce, I blend onions, garlic, chicken stock, cumin, pepper, salt, and the chili powder that I made. And then I make a roux with Crisco and flour, and then I pour the blender mixture in there, and then I pour the rest of the chicken stock in and some ground beef, and yeah, that's how I make my enchilada sauce. Waffle House is closing early. Are you serious? Yeah, I can't even believe that. Like, I've never seen a Waffle House closed in my life. Like, that Waffle House is like the most dependable place there is when it comes to being open. Yeah, when I lived in Kentucky, I worked at a restaurant bar in Kentucky, and a lot of people would get hired to work in the kitchen or whatever, and they'd work for like a week, get their first paycheck, and then quit. And a lot of people would like apply and get hired just so they could, you know, say they were looking for jobs for unemployment. But there's a lot of like drug addicts that would like apply, get hired, and then quit as soon as they got their first check, and then I guess repeat the process all over again whenever they needed more money. Yep, I love making enchilada sauce from scratch. I won't use the canned crap. But that's the secret is finding the darkest New Mexico chili pods you can find and then toasting them. Gives it a nice roasted flavor. It's really good. But I can't believe Waffle House is closing down. Like I love Waffle House. It's like one of my favorite places. And I've never in my life seen one close before. Like even after tornadoes and stuff, they're still going to be open. But I always get when I go to Waffle House, I usually get the same thing every time. I get the All-Star Special with peanut butter on my waffle, and the hash browns, I get them scattered, smothered, and covered. And then I'll either get another waffle or I'll get the sausage, egg, and cheese bowl. The sausage, egg, and hash brown bowl. That's usually what I get. One time I went, though, back in November, and I got 2 All-Star Specials. 2, yep. But I usually when I go to Waffle House, that's usually all I eat for the day, so I'll get like 2 All-Star Specials, or I'll get a lot of food. West Texas. I haven't been to West Texas. The only time I've ever been to I guess Lubbock is as far west as I've gone. I've never been to Midland, Odessa. I've never been to El Paso. I've never been to Marfa or Alpine or anything like that. Lubbock and Amarillo are pretty much it. I've been to Amarillo many times. When was the last time I was in Amarillo? It was back in December when I was driving to Vail. I stopped at a Waffle House there. Yep, that's right. It was the same night of that super, what do they call it, the Christmas star? It was the same night of that, and I went to Waffle House in Amarillo before that. Looks like the A's weren't able to get anything off that leadoff walk. That's a disappointment. Sometimes I'll make the Permian Basin. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing against it. But sometimes I'll make a enchilada casserole that has, black beans, corn. It's not so much as an enchilada casserole as it is just like a Mexican casserole, but it has enchiladas, corn, cauliflower rice, a couple of corn tortillas, your cumin and spices and everything like that. Usually chicken breast or ground turkey, and then enchilada sauce. It's intended to be like a lower calorie food casserole. And then a little bit amount of cheese. Even though I'm done with my cutting diet, I'm still trying to, eat. I'm not like free-for-alling. I still try to eat under maintenance and everything. After I get off the stream, I'm going to eat my teriyaki pasta. So earlier I ate my enchilada casserole at around noon. And then I'm going to eat after the stream my Asian pasta. It's just whole wheat pasta, garlic, pork tenderloin marinated in teriyaki, sugar-free teriyaki sauce, and broccoli and breadcrumbs. Man, Ryan Zimmerman's still around. Jeez, I'm surprised he's still going. Yeah, not a good opening night, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna lose much sleep over it. It is, it is what it is. I mean, which of these can flip? Maybe this one right here. Maybe this one. So if I go 3 and 4 tonight, that would be a success based on how things look now. But then I still have these two down here. Yeah, I'm surprised he's still around. I just saw the highlight of him hitting a home run. I'm like, geez, he's still playing? And he's played for the same team this entire time as well. Man, what's going on, Stars? Stars are down 3-0. They've been playing pretty well. I think it's funny how Apple is acting like having a purple phone is such a huge deal. Ooh, a purple phone. Like, it's not even any hardware advance. It's just a purple color. Yeah, I don't know how many times I'm going to do these baseball streams. It probably won't be like basketball where I go like a whole Saturday, but if you look at my website and see how the model is done, it hasn't been good. So I'm kind of skeptical that it'll eventually catch fire. It's a hard baseball's hard. I hope I at least have something on totals, but at least tonight I don't so far, unless like one of these two games pick up the pace. No, it's actually pork teriyaki, pork tenderloin, sugar-free teriyaki sauce, whole wheat pasta, garlic, breadcrumbs, and broccoli. Oh yeah, thanks for coming around. A little bit different than my basketball streams, but you know. What? If you're watching the Mets game, they're talking about a minor league doing a home run derby instead of extra innings to break a tie after 9 innings. That's just stupid. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I did the college basketball streams every Saturday. But I would live bet and everything, so it was a little bit more entertaining, I guess, because I had a live betting framework in place for it, which I don't have yet for baseball. So I probably won't do another baseball stream until I have that in place. But I just wanted to I did the stream to let everyone know my baseball model's up and running, I guess, but not a lot of success tonight. I wish I could be more talkative tonight, but like I said, I'm just kind of burned out with the interviews and working on this model and everything, working on the website. I'm just ready for the whole interview process to be over with so I can move on with my life. Like when I was doing my college basketball streams, I hadn't started applying for jobs yet, so I wasn't worried about that, preoccupied with that. I'm surprised I can still pump out, 3 videos a week or whatever. A couple of the interviews I've done, they gave me like take-home assignments to do, they give you they call it a take-home interview. And I was like, how do they know you're the one actually doing it, not somebody else? But it is what it is. Like I think I had a good interview today. The one I had today, it lasted 2 hours. I think it went well, but we'll see. Wait, I just had a flip. Oh wait, I didn't have a flip. I just had a game start. Man, I don't think this Braves Cubs game is going over. The Rays just scored a run. So that's back up to 28%. So I need 3 more runs in that game. I don't know. I don't know if it will happen. If the A's tie the game, I need the A's to tie the game. Am I staying in Las Vegas? I would say at this point the odds are greater that I'm going to leave rather than stay. There's a couple jobs that I'm in the later stages of that would allow me to stay here, but the other 3 that I'm in the late stages of, I will have to move, and that's it. So I'd probably put it at 1/3 chance I stay in Las Vegas at this point. Like I said, I'm just waiting to get an offer. I haven't gotten one yet. I'd be very surprised if I go 0 for 5 in the 5 companies I'm in the late stages with, but I still don't have that bird in my hand yet. Yeah, appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to stay here, but I'm not going to be heartbroken if I have to leave, Like I said, this town sucks with all the COVID restrictions. It does. It's a completely different town. It is. It's not the same, and so it's not like I'll be missing out. And with sports betting becoming more and more legal around the country, I'm not worried about that either. Are you serious, Robert Hunt? I heard it was going to be a best of 5 home run derby, like a shootout in hockey. Wow. An Arby's commercial. Does anyone here work at Arby's? I already hate the 7-inning double headers. I do, and I hate the talk about getting rid of the I hate universal DH talk. I don't like. I think pitchers should hit in both leagues. They're always like, but pitchers don't even try. I'm like, that's their fault for not trying to be good hitters. Nothing says that you have to be a bad hitter if you're a pitcher. I hate them trying to expand the playoffs and all that. All right, Mike Trout's up with the bases loaded and 2 out in the Rangers game. He already has 2 hits tonight. He's batting .438. Okay, he's singled. Right, never mind. He's not up with the bases loaded. It's the guy after him in the lineup, Anthony Rendon. That would actually be entertaining, Robert Hunt. Like, position players throw into pitchers. All right, bases loaded for Anthony Rendon in the Angels-Rangers game. Not that I have a bet on that, but all right. The A's got a leadoff walk. Can they tie the game? That's the question. I just need them to tie the game. The The Braves scored again. I guess that gives me more insurance for the run line there, but they're going to need Ronald Acuna to hit they're going to need to score 2 more, and then maybe the Cubs can get 3 in I don't know. I have a 2.5% chance of that game going over. Anthony Rendon flied out, so flied out with the bases loaded and 2 outs. The Braves have the bases loaded for Freddie Freeman. What if he hits a grand slam here? Man, talk about living rent-free. So the Mets and Red Sox fans at the game are both chanting Yankees suck. Rent-free. Like, I'm not a Yankees fan, but rent-free. Two and 0 count to Freddie Freeman. If he hits a grand slam, I'm gonna laugh, because that would be like the ultimate disappointment is if the game finishes 8-0. Ball game. The Red Sox just won. What else is on? I get local Padres broadcast here in Las Vegas, which is random. So they're playing the Diamondbacks. I would turn on the Stars game, but they're down 3-0. That one's lost cause. 3-0 count to Freddie Freeman. And then Ozuna's after him. So if they walk Freeman here, then Ozuna can hit a grand slam and make the game go over. And then I won't even need the Cubs to score in the top of the 9th. All right, walk. They walk Freddie Freeman, so now it's 5-0. Oh boy. So if Marcell Ozuna hits a grand slam here, the game goes over. So now it's up to 4.4%. They're going to change pitchers. So they're bringing in Dan Winkler. 1.08 ERA to face Marcell Ozuna, who's batting 188. So my odds are not good he hits a grand slam here. I got to fix this 8th inning issue that makes it do that. I wonder if they're playing in a. I wonder if the roof is closed in the Astros game, because that's one of the things that are a pain in the butt when you're doing weather, is trying to determine whether like Houston or Texas or Milwaukee are going to have an open or closed roof. And so I gave the Astros a closed roof today, and I gave the Rangers an open roof. You just look at the weather and do, your best guess. All right, can Marcell Ozuna hit a grand slam? So I actually have this batter-pitcher matchup. Can Marcell Ozuna hit a grand slam against Dan Winkler? All right. Ball one. Foul ball. Or maybe even a bases clearing double would work. Doesn't have to be a grand slam. Oh, he lined out. Oh, well, it was worth it. It was fun while it lasted. All right. I'm going to go to 7 o'clock and then call it a night. So about 5 more minutes. And the Stars scored a goal, so now they're only down 3-1. I like to watch old Stars videos from the 90s. I do. When I'm bored, it's what I do. A lot of good memories. I'll never forget that Game 6 Stanley Cup final game that ended at like 2 in the morning. And me and my dad, we were hungry because we were staying up late to watch it, and we were hungry. And we thought the game was going to go into another overtime. And we were like, well, the only place that's open around here is Jack in the Box, and they close at 2 o'clock. And so we went out to get some like tacos from Jack in the Box, and we heard the game-winning goal on the radio. Which is fine, it's nice to listen to a local broadcast, but we didn't get to see it because we thought they were going to another overtime and we wanted to get to Jack in the Box before it closed. That's not a good start for my under in the Rockies game. '70s Flyers games. That's a little, yeah. I mean, I feel old because I was only 11 years old when the Stars won the Stanley Cup. I'm 33 now. Oh, not good tonight. Yeah, I mean, not good. Just totals weren't there. I'll be very lucky to go 4-5 if this results hold. I will be very lucky. But I need to fix this 8th inning problem. Good old NBA betting. I just need the A's to tie the game, and that game will go over. But I'm not getting my hopes up. It's been a bad night for my over bets. I just don't have the framework to do 5th inning bets yet. First 5 bets. All right, it's 7 o'clock, so I'm going to call it a night. I hope you guys enjoyed what I have for baseball, and maybe I'll do this again sometime. But like I said, I'm burned out with everything going on, so it'll be a while. But that is my baseball model. So stay tuned to this channel for more. I got a video coming out tomorrow morning. Anyway, I'll be back. Thanks, everybody.